Sandy was a total extrovert. She would walk into a room of 50 people, and within 5 minutes she knew all their names, and she knew all of them and their life history, and they all loved her.
Nobody is a stranger to my mother, and everybody is part of the family, and as such, she expands all of our worlds. Anybody who is with her is part of the family. So every person she touches and brings in, she not only brought into her life, she brought into the lives of all the other people that were with her.
I consider she just had all plus qualities, and she was someone I looked up to and wish probably more often than not that I had some of those qualities myself.
Sandy and I were both active in our local youth groups. Sandy was in New Orleans, I was in Milwaukee. But at the end of our senior year, we both went to a National Leadership Institute in Philadelphia. And this week-long institute for Reformed Jewish youth was just a great deal of fun. And of course, the boys met the girls and the girls met the boys, and I met Sandy. For 4 years, Sandy and I courted each other by long distance, and we were together a total of 35 days over 4 years. And we both felt we wanted to get to know each other better and couldn't figure any way to do that other than getting married. So we got married. Sandy was working at a high school for problem teenagers. She was doing all the diagnostic testing. And one of the therapists at the school, who happened to be a Catholic nun, said, "Don't you Jews have a holiday around Easter that's a family holiday?" She said, "I have a young man who happens to be Jewish, and he's a problem case, but he does identify with his Judaism, and I thought it'd be useful and helpful if you would have him to your Passover Seder." So Sandy checked and she said yes. And at that point, the therapist came back and said, "Well, if you would take him for a weekend, would you take him forever? We have no place for him." And Sandy said, "Well, I'll check with my family." And we all voted yes. And so Paul ended up moving in with our family, and he was our first foster child.
He was a year older than me. He was very artsy. I was very much a jock and a brainiac, so you couldn't have had two people that were more opposite. However, within a couple of years, you could not tell the difference between me and him in terms of being real brothers other than our complexion and things. They did the same thing with a number of other children. Almost all of them have gone on to be successful and to actually make a difference in the community, not just have jobs. Both of my parents have always been very involved, particularly with the youth. My mother focused more on problem children, whether it was emotional, drugs, physical, mental, those kinds of problems. That was why she did go back to get her master's in special education, because that's where she wanted to provide and use her skills.
And it definitely set Sandy apart as a person that knew, just knew how to handle and be around kids, all kids.
Sandy's passion for education and love of children is what brought her to the Open Apartments complex. The first time she was there, she fell in love with the students, the people who work with the kids, and the kids themselves.
The Community Action Unit runs more than 65 open apartments in Beersheva's most disadvantaged neighborhoods. In this ambitious 30-year-old project, students receive free housing in exchange for opening their homes and hearts to the community. The participants organize a variety of activities, like homework groups, sports, music, and cultural events, while becoming part of the life of the neighborhood.
Basically, I'm teaching them mathematics and English, but when you are here, the job doesn't finish when you finish your activity. Part of the stuff that we need to do in the project is called community service. And we need to communicate with the people that live here, not just, come for 2 hours, teach and go back to your house and not knowing anyone. You are obligated to go outside, to talk to people, try to see if you see new kids that are not in any kind of the courses that we give to the people over here. You talk to the people to see if you can help them.
Of all of the activities and projects and programs at Ben-Gurion University, the open apartments was her number one. It was, in a sense, another dimension of what she did with our foster kids, in that she saw it was an outreach, it was working, and you could see the change. And one of the most thrilling things was when you saw the kids who lived in the open apartments and were helped by the students of the university, eventually grew up, became students in the university themselves, and volunteered to go back as students in the open apartment project, helping the next generation.
When I was younger, at the 5th grade, I had some grown-up friends. They were students at Ben-Gurion University. I remember that my friends from school and I participated in all kinds of different activities for which those university students were responsible for. At the first 2 years, I gave courses in creativity and storytelling for kids from 1st to 5th grade, which is the same courses that I got as a child when I was younger. It feels as if I'm closing a circle. The knowledge and the good feeling I received from the students and from the university as a child will pass on to the next generation.
Sandy, when she took us to the open apartments, it was an absolute natural fit. Her desire, her talent with underprivileged kids and families just went hand in hand.
Sandy had the ability to see things as to what they could be rather than what they are. And that ability to have a vision, that ability to be always there before she's even asked, is what carried her to Ben-Gurion University.
Sandy's and Steve's generous and long-standing support of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev has impacted the university big time via projects like open apartments that they've supported, the mathematical club for gifted children from low-income families. They have enabled the university to carry on its social mission in weak, underprivileged and needy communities of the Negev.
Through Sandy's influence, immediately I was drawn to the organization of Ben-Gurion. I joined the local chapter, and I've been on the committee for this wonderful gala dinner for 10 years. Actually, Sandy and I were mistresses of ceremony at one of the big, big galas. She was the clown, I was the sidekick.
Sandy was a clown. She was a clown her whole life. From skit night in college, her favorite characterization was Carol Burnett as the mop lady. And when she decided to retire, she let her children know. And one of our foster kids, Paul, researched it and found a clown who would give her clown lessons so she could realize her dream. And that's how she entered her third career, that of clowning.
One day she called up and she said, "I'm going to go to clown school." I knew exactly how she would be. She would be fantastic. And she was. And they went everywhere, including to Israel.
I can remember her clowning in Soroka Hospital, how much joy and happiness she brought to children, and eliciting admiration of both physicians and faculty.
In University of Haifa, they started a program for clowning. I say many, many years ago, Sandy started that. You taught me so much, your courage. Always not to give up. Always to be optimistic.
When I think of Sandy, I always think of a person who is a doer, a mover, and a shaker. There's not anything that Sandy did or that she saw that if she could be of assistance, she got it done. The word no was never in her vocabulary.
But the most important thing is what I learned from you when I teach my children. Let's celebrate life and love.
She would let other people take all the credit, all the glory. All she wanted to do was get the job done.
I was inspired by her. I was very much challenged by her. I will always remember her.
Sandy loved all people, but especially children and young adults with special challenges. And what gave her the most joy was helping them reach their greatest potential and helping others to see that helping was so important to fulfilling their lives.